Hello, and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We are your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of a multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
While busyness, addictive doing, people-pleasing, and perfectionism might be the norm, it's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams.
Let's dive in.
Hello, everybody. It is Philly here on the podcast. We have a really cool episode for you today. It was actually the recording from our 3-day live stress, burnout, and why your gut protocol isn't working. We decided to use today's session that we did, and we're going to publish it on the episode because it was a good one, a cracker. And it's also the number one reason why people don't heal from body burnout or really any chronic health issues. If you want to get access to the workbooks, the slides, the coaching questions, all the bits and pieces that we go through in this podcast episode or in the webinar today, you can jump onto our website. So www.chrisandphilly.fm/gut, and you can sign up for our 3-day free coaching event, and you can get access to all the bits and pieces that we're sharing until the 28th of May. So if you really like today's episode and you want to get some more goodness from day 1 and day 3, then jump on to our website and you can sign up to access all the recordings, and you also might be able to catch us live on Friday. So as a recap over the 3-day live, on day 1, which we did on Tuesday, it was all about test, not guess. So really looking at the physical side of healing from body burnout and the body systems that we test, and often the ones that are missed, especially if you're struggling with chronic gut issues and other inflammatory type issues. Day 2, which is the podcast episode that you'll listen today, is all about you're not broken. Your body isn't fighting against you, it's fighting for you. And also your current health issues are actually serving you in some way. And until you can uncover that, it's really hard to heal, or at the very least have long-term results. Day 3, which will be on Friday. So if you're listening to this and you want to catch us live on Friday, you can sign up to the webinar. We're going to talk about brain controls pain. So that's where we're looking at the connection between neural pathways, the brain, and chronic health issues, which is part of what we do in Ending Body Burnout Method. So we're physically supporting the body, but also metaphysically healing and rebalancing and resetting and rewiring the body too. And that means rewiring your brain, your neural pathways, so that you can communicate safety to the body, which will essentially switch off symptoms. So if you wanted to get access to that recording, it is available until the 28th of May. And we are in launch week 2 for the Ending Body Burnout Method. So if you have been wanting to join us and to really dive in to deeply heal the root cause of your health issues and end your body burnout for good, let go of all the Band-Aid things that you might be doing and really just dive in head deep. Our doors are open until the 28th of May. They will close and we won't be open again for another 4 months. So now is the time, beautiful person. Now is the time. Okay, let's jump into today's episode.
Welcome everybody to today's workshop. We're excited to have you here. Can you guys just give me a thumbs up if the audio is coming through for you? Yes, great. And you should be able to see both Philly and myself and the 3-day live event. Lovely. I'm just multitasking, clicking admit. while I do that, do you want to introduce us for this one, hun?
Mm-hmm. Okay, welcome. Pop in the chat box if you were here yesterday or listened to the recording. Just write why, if yes, and if no. That would be awesome. So we are Chris and Philly. Yeah, so most of you have probably been on here. I'll just do a quick intro of us in case there isn't. There's someone who hasn't been on yet. So I'm Philippa Billette. I'm a functional medicine practitioner, clinical nutritionist, coach, and trauma therapist. And this is Chris, and he is a master NLP practitioner, burnout recovery coach, and he is
technology specialist.
I don't know what's happening with his chair right now. So we are super, super excited for those who were on the call yesterday and any clients that are on as well. You know how much we just absolutely love ending body burnout. And by ending, we're not in the business of just band-aiding or managing, even naturally. We want to get into like the deepest root cause of why a person is in a state of body burnout. And today we're really going to go in deep. And so I'm really excited. Probably out of this 3-day event, this one is the one that I'm just like, I woke up so excited about because I'm like, yes, because it is the number one reason why people get stuck when they're trying to heal from their chronic health issues. So we've been like in the health industry for a combined 25 plus years. We've served thousands of clients, and we also have our own burnout stories as well, which I think is important and also really helpful because we embody the work that we teach. So we know some stuff, but we also have been in the depths of the pits as well. Probably the worst part was, both of us were in such a state of body burnout that our marriage almost ended. And we got married really quick. We got married in 6 weeks. So engaged in 6 weeks, married in 6 weeks. So it was like a whirlwind. And we're still here and we've come through strong, and we're so here to help you not just have beautiful health and to get rid of those annoying symptoms, but to really just embrace life and find your spark and feel really connected with yourself and with what's important to you.
After doing this for combined 20 years, I think we worked out more than that. We've noticed that burnout takes a different impact or a different toll on you all. And for us, Philly mentioned marriage. For me, there was like an existential crisis as well. And you are all going to have your own story, your own impacts that this is going to, these challenges are going to have on you. And this is, ready? That's great. That's amazing. I am a firm believer that this period of your life that you're going through right now is so important. And I'm so glad you're here. We're very excited to communicate our ideas, our methods, and our principles with you. But our mess is our message. As we've grown up and our age has increased, we've had our bunch of messes, and now you put those two things together, age plus mess equals our message, and we're excited to share that with you.
Okay, so to end body burnout, as we touched on yesterday, it's not just a case of I have physical symptoms or, even like mental health issues as well. But a lot of the times body burnout, it's not just mental, but it's now showing up in the body too. So there's chronic pain, there's fatigue, there's hormonal imbalances, autoimmunity, skin issues, so many different ways that the body can actually start screaming at us through symptoms. And we don't just treat the body physically, because your body isn't just a physical being, it is metaphysical as well. And by metaphysical, we're talking about the unconscious mind, the nervous system, the mental emotional part of you, the spiritual or energetic part of you. That's all what we call metaphysical bodies. And they're just as important and also just as inflammatory when things go a bit pear-shaped as physical inflammation. So I'll give you an example. So the body will respond in the same way to if you drank a bucket load of alcohol in comparison to if you're carrying around a hidden unconscious core belief that you're broken. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And your body's going to have the same physiological response to both of those things. And the deeper root stuff is in the metaphysical, because then it's like, why are you drinking the bucket load of alcohol? There's a reason behind that. So today we're really going to ask big questions like why? Why are you burnt out? We're going beyond just the body systems, which we talked about yesterday, and we're going deeper into why someone is burnt out. Okay, so yesterday we did test, not guess, looked at the body systems that are impacted when you're running stress, burnout patterns, and there was quite a bit of a gut focused in that one too. Today we're moving into you're not broken. And then on Friday, so we're having a little break tomorrow. On Friday, we're going to go into neuroscience and the way that the brain and the neural pathways are connected to the physical symptoms and mental health issues that you're experiencing and how to rewire that. That one's also really exciting. It's hard to choose a favorite. Okay, so today,
Just welcoming everybody who's just tuned in the last couple of minutes. Welcome. Please feel free to use the chat.
Yeah. Actually, before I go into the intention and dive into the juiciness of today, we do have giveaway prizes. So for anyone who attends live, you get your name put into the draw. For yesterday, the winner will be drawn this afternoon. And if you watch the recording or if you want to get extra names in the hat, you can jump into our Facebook group. And there's different ways that you can win some more prizes. And yeah, so our amazing EA Jerson is on the call today. So he's going to collect names as you're jumping in to put your name in the hat, and you can win some really cool prizes. We'll talk a bit more about those at the end.
He might, if we don't know who you are, like if your name doesn't match up with your registration, it might be hard to give you a point for the giveaway.
Yeah, so Jerson might just send you a private DM.
If you can.
Even if you give your first name and your last name or the initial for the last name, that should be fine.
Cool.
Okay, so today we're going to coach you through hidden unconscious core beliefs that are causing body burnout and keeping you stuck from healing. This is 9.9 times out of the 10 the reason why someone who feels like they have done all the things and you're still struggling with chronic body burnout, this is the number one reason why you're still stuck. So we are giving you such a beautiful gift here today that if you show up for yourself and you're present and your heart is open, which also opens up the little gate between your conscious and unconscious mind, you can literally have a transformation on this call today, we're only at lunchtime. And we're also going to touch on how you can show up more resourcefully so that you can heal. Okay, so for anyone who's on the call, if possible, if you pop your screens on, that's really helpful for us because then we can interact, engage, coach you better. Totally fine if it's not appropriate, if you're on the dunny or something. Also, please feel free to use the chat box. I love it when people turn up live because you have us in your corner for an hour. So rather than just consuming information, if things are popping to your mind where either it doesn't make sense or you want to share an insight or you want to go deeper on a topic, totally put that into the chat box. We did get a lot of questions yesterday, so we kind of ran over time. So we'll see how we go today, but I'm definitely going to circle back at the end if we haven't been able to answer your questions throughout, and we're going to answer every single question. Karen, so ready for this. Bring it on.
Pew, pew.
So good. And as I said before, permission. So just give yourself permission to be here. This is a special hour. Actually, we regard this not as a like, yeah, come and learn some things. This is literally, if you allow it, to be a sacred space. And I just want to like pause there and just allow that to sink in. Like this can be a really sacred space for you. if you're here and willing to know what you've been too scared to know about. Okay. So in the chat box, where are you? If you didn't attend yesterday, just love you to pop in the chat box. What symptoms are you currently struggling with? What have you tried so far? And if you were here yesterday, have you had any insights so far? Anything that you want to share? Maybe even anything that has shifted for you, whether that's just kind of like in the way that you're currently seeing your body burnout and your health symptoms, or maybe there's even been a takeaway that you've actually took action on and that you're like, wow, that actually worked. This is working for me. Yeah, cool. Okay, so we got some symptoms: digestive issues, gastroparesis. I don't think I pronounced that right. Stomach inflammation. Yep. You're in the right. If you didn't watch day one, that'd be really good to listen back to the recording. We still are kind of talking about, like, the whole topic of this is stress, burnout, and why your gut protocol isn't working. We're going to talk way less about the physical stuff, but that would be really good to listen back to the recording. Deborah, I feel like I have a shift that I am not broken was needed. Cool. How do we feel about COVID vaccines? Oh, yeah, okay. Is that a question, or that's kind of just an insight? How do we feel about COVID vaccines with all my symptoms too? Huge insight. Already following our chat yesterday to acknowledge the metaphysical stuff and not try to rationalize my feelings. Yeah, I love that. Okay. If anyone starts feeling a bit of resistance, awkwardness, embarrassment, shame, guilt as we're moving through today's session, that will squash out any ability for you to be able to heal and break through blocks. So I love what Karen has said. When you start working on this deeper metaphysical stuff, my number one advice is start looking at it with curiosity and no judgment. It's purely like, what's there? Even if it's ugly and messy and like it's kind of putting your dirty laundry on the table, just look at it with curiosity. Okay, so chronic pain, brain fog, too many issues to list, lots of tests, doctors can't figure out the cause. Yep. Hi, I work in the wellness industry doing body work. My husband went through a massive burnout 2 years ago after leaning into destructive behaviors. He has finally got the message from the doctor and he's back on track health-wise. Want to learn more to support him. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So I wanted to start off before we jump into the metaphysical side of things. I just wanted to talk about some limitations of physical protocols. Now, don't get me wrong, we're a functional medicine practice. We do all that sort of stuff, like the labs and the supplements and like nutrition and all that sort of stuff. But I wanted to spend just a little bit of time here so that you can buy into what we believe in terms of healing the body, both physically and metaphysically. So if you're only trying to physically heal with protocols, then there are limitations with that. And it's normal too to start there because it's like, it feels physical. My body's like exhausted and in pain and I've got like gut issues and like headaches. So it makes sense that we go to try and find a physical solution first. And that's like 9 times out of 10, that's what people do. However, then you might start trying some things, and there were some comments, especially yesterday, where it's like, yeah, I feel like I have tried so many things. So why isn't the protocol working? So as we said before, we honor all bodies. So you cannot get long-term healing. You might get some relief, maybe even for a few months, maybe even a few years, but you cannot get long-term, deep, wonderful, beautiful healing, restorative health, optimal health, if only treating the physical body, because we're not just a physical body. So we must honor all parts of ourselves. It's a reductionist method if we only stay on the physical. So just treating the physical can only offer surface level support. it often ends up being a band-aid or management, which is why a lot of people move over into the natural therapies, because it's like, oh, I just feel like the GPs are giving me medication to try and get rid of a symptom, but it's not really addressing the root cause. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure if I asked everyone to put in the question into the chat box, you've probably all heard the story, medication is just a band-aid. Well, so too can natural support also be a band-aid. And it also can manage. And I got to the point there too. So I loved it when I started really working in the functional medicine space, both for my own health, but also for clients, because I'm like, yes, now we can actually see where symptoms are coming from a physical level. But after a few years, I was getting a bit stuck, both with my own health and also with quite a lot of clients too, where it's like, far out, even those clients who take a protocol and do it perfectly, some of them didn't even budge their symptoms. And it's like, you're doing all the things that your labs clearly tell you to do. Why are you not healing? And management too. So for myself, I could manage my health issues in the past pretty well, but I had to live really restrictively. I was emailing someone who was on the call yesterday about rosacea, and it's like food restrictions and like, oh yeah, it's better if I, you know, with the food changes that I've made. And I'm like, yeah, but what if we want to live like a free and full life and we want to eat things like, I don't know specifically what the foods are, but even like dairy or gluten or a bit of junk food every now and then, like it's not going to kill us. So I was managing my symptoms because I was only treating my body in a physical way. But anytime I went out of the gates, my symptoms would flare up again. And I kind of got done with it. I'm like, I want to live my life. I don't want to have to be in fear and to be healthy. So,
just
yeah.
one second. Can everybody else hear us? Can you hear us? All good? Okay. Sorry, not sure, Christine, what's going on with your sound there.
Christine, I wonder if you can't hear us at all, well, you might put it in the chat box. It might be because she hasn't accepted recording.
There you go.
Yeah, but she couldn't hear it. So can you put that in the chat box?
That's a good point.
Okay. Just treating the physical can also be a hideout from the deepest root cause. And you might doing that with the best of intentions too. It might be like, it's physical, I'm trying to like support my body and I'm trying to be well, but I'm still symptomatic, or I have to live in a really restrictive way to feel half well, or, you know, 90% well. But at the end of the day, only sticking with physical treatment is a hideout from the deepest root cause, and then it becomes really gaslighty. So again, we've probably heard that story too. You go to the GP and the GP's like, it's all in your head, and like they're not really taking you seriously, especially if you're showing up with weird health issues. Just treating yourself physically is gaslighting yourself too. And I'd be curious like what people think or feel when I just say that out loud right now, because there might be, that might sound really offensive, but it is a truth. And it also might actually create some hope inside of you too, that it's like, oh. And we're going to get into why it's actually gaslighting. And I even use the word traumatic and abusive to yourself when you're only stuffing your mouth with supplements or like a restrictive diet. Yeah, Jay, yeah, cool. I agree. My history shows this clearly. I know. And you've had such cool results so far. Okay, so it's not, now to jump back off my high horse, it's not one or the other. So we're not demonizing physical health. That is what we do in our practice. Most of our clients are doing some sort of physical support as well, because it works faster. It's nice to be able to support the body, but it's not a root cause solution. So it's not one or the other. It's always one and the other. Okay, so let's talk about the body-mind connection. So you might feel, actually pop in the comments, do you feel like you're at war with your body? Do you feel like it's fighting you? Do you feel like that bloating and the constipation and diarrhea and headaches and brain fog? It's just like you wake up every day and you're like, oh, just go away, will you? Stop tormenting me. It's really frustrating. It is very frustrating. And it's really draining, especially if you've had chronic issues for a long time and you're waking up every day with those same things over and over again. However, first little breakthrough insight is to understand that your body isn't fighting against you, it's fighting for you. And just like hand on heart, I don't know if anyone wants to do it with me, but I feel that in my body right now, that even if your body is screaming at you and you're in some type of pain, whether it's physical or mental, it is never fighting against you, it is fighting for you. And again, I'm kind of going back to like, you know, the general narrative is like something like autoimmunity, where it's like your body's eating yourself. Like there's parts of your body that are eating away your thyroid or your muscle tissue or whatever it is. So there's like this common narrative in the health space that our body is fighting against us, but it's always fighting for you. Which then therefore means that you're not broken. So if your body isn't fighting against you, but it's fighting for you, there's no way, even if you feel like your body is broken, there is no way that your body is broken. So that's number one. And then number two is you're not broken because your current state of health is actually there to serve you in some way. Yeah, we got some comments. Not at war, but have been in battle. Yeah, body has definitely been fighting for me. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Cool reframe. So it's like it's in battle fighting for you. Someone else said, doesn't feel that way with a migraine. No, it doesn't. However, let's start thinking about, so I'm going to read out, it's called an NLP presupposition. So presuppositions are basically like a way of seeing the world or a situation or a problem and offering a new way of resolving it. So you are not broken. The results you are getting in every area of your life, including your health, are the exact results your system has designed. The results you've designed your system to create. Every behavior is meeting a need and every strategy has a positive intention. So how does that feel? If you think about your number one most problematic, most annoying, distressing symptom that you have, how does that feel when you hear or read that? Your symptom is what your system has created. And that symptom, so if I touch on the migraine, that migraine is actually there to try and meet a need, and it has a positive intention. What are your thoughts around that? A big opportunity. Awesome. Oh, good, Christine. Hello, I can hear.
Susan, you just asked about day one summary. It's in your emails. It would be in your emails. And you scroll down to the bottom of the page and there's a recording from yesterday and there's slides and the workbook in there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We got some cool comments as well. So it makes complete sense. Poor body. Sounds more like proof the brain is wired wrong. Mm-hmm. Means that the body is actually doing its job. I'll wait to hear the rest, but I can understand what you were saying. Okay, I'm going to switch over to, because we want to do a bit of coaching here. When we do group calls, like inside our method with clients as well, we love really getting into some coaching.
I love that, Karen. By the way, Karen, sorry to jump in. Karen says, sounds like my 3 p.m. slump is telling my body to stop running around. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, that's cool. Cool insight that just came there. Okay, so in the chat box, answer some of these questions and we'll just go through each one of them. And if you're like, oh, I feel really lost, just be here and just, again, looking at this with curiosity. We're not judging. There's no judgment here. not from Chris and I, but also most importantly, not from yourself. How have you created your health issues?
Migraines, all that sort of stuff. 3 p.m. slumps.
Yeah, cool. People pleasing, perfectionism. Yep. Gluttony, overcompensating, spreading myself too thin, focused on perfection, not tuning in and honoring myself and my needs. Perfection, being too busy, scar tissue on the brain, stress, anxiety, fatigue. I will talk into that one because sometimes you can have had an injury, which has been outside of your control, maybe. However, the body still can heal. So if there's a genetic traumatic experiences as well, so if there's something that you feel like has caused something outside of you that now you have, how have you created? How are you blocking your ability to heal? Would be a great question for you to ask around that. Has everyone heard of Joe Dispenza? So he was a guy who broke his back so severely that he was told he would never walk again, and he healed his spine with his mind, and now he helps other people to do it as well. So when someone feels like, oh yeah, I just have to live with it because I've had this injury, it's like, well, you can buy into that story, and if that is a belief that you have, that's where you'll stay. But then there's also so much evidence out there that people have healed from like the most detrimental things done to their body. So you can too. So how have you created a block of being able to heal, whether it's from genetics or an injury or even like past generational trauma? Yeah, cool. Painkillers, tons of painkillers, inflammatories, decades of hiding and believing I'm a hypochondriac, not listening to my body, trying to control what's on around me, comparing self to others. Yeah, so it's very similar themes for a lot of these. It's like the perfectionism, the overwhelm, the trying to do too many things. I think I've tried so many things over the past 20 years with naturopaths, doctors. Yeah, Judith, that's an interesting story, or it's an experience that you have had that has probably led to a belief that you can't heal, maybe. Option. You're welcome to pop in the chat box if it's like, yeah. Being told over and over by therapists it won't change, hence why I'm now learning about natural alternatives. Yeah, so cool that you're here. Especially next on Friday, we're going to talk about retraining the brain, and that's going to be really gold for you. I believe I can't heal. Okay, yeah. So how are your...
For now.
Yet. And it's good just to say, this is how I feel, and it's entrenched in every part of my body, and I know that it's just a story. Because it's not like we're not talking about positive toxicity here, where it's just like, yeah, everything's okay, yay, I'm gonna be better. Woo. It's like, but when you take full responsibility that you've created this, so whether it's you've created your health issues or you've now created a pattern where you feel stuck and not able to heal, taking full responsibility is really the first step. And then just acknowledging that, and it's just a story.
I've chosen, or I choose to. It's kind of like a little bit jarring that's like, wait, what? You mean I'm choosing my migraines? Shut up. You know, like you might think something like that. And that's why I really like it, because it gets you thinking, well, okay, well, I'm not going to play the victim card anymore. How have I chosen? What am I choosing to do? Or how am I choosing to be that's facilitating this, that's allowing this?
Next question. We probably won't have time to go through all of them. What's the most juiciest one? The next two are kind of similar. How are your health issues trying to meet your needs? And what is the positive intention behind your state of body burnout? Another way of asking that is, what's the worst thing? Oh, actually, it's right at the bottom. What's the worst thing about being well? Not taking the time to address issues rebodied due to belief so deep I'm all wrong. Not being myself, being carer. Ooh, interesting. I think migraines get me to slow down and rest. Yeah.
It's so, like, I love headaches, sleeplessness, these sort of things. It's just like, what? Like, we kind of know, the answer. It's right there. And it's like your body, your unconscious is just saying, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh, if you're not going to slow down, well, bam, take this.
Okay, cool. All right, there's so many gold bits of information bubbling up to your conscious awareness now. So, what have we got here? Okay, yeah. Ability to have an excuse to rest. Yeah, that is a huge one. It's like you have been running busy perfectionism, people pleasing, over caring patterns for probably decades. We work with a lot of people who are kind of like midlife, kind of like late 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond, because you can't keep running those patterns for decades. At some point, your body is going to scream at you and force you. It's fighting for you, remember? It's fighting for you. It's fighting for you to stop and to do something different. Judith, I'd love to be well and healthy and have energy. Okay, just a follow-up question around that. So why aren't you? This is where we're going here. Like, there are deep unconscious blocks and beliefs and resistances that are preventing a person to being well and have energy, even though that is what they want. They hate how they're feeling. I hate it. I don't want it. But if you haven't got it, then there's a reason why. Okay, this is a good one too. Not getting love and sympathy when well. Yeah. Often that comes back to childhood stuff as well, where it feels really good when you have a day off with mum, or maybe also you grew up in a really volatile environment, and the only way you got like a smidgen of love or attention was when you were vomiting your guts up or something like that. Yeah, Deb, I think I need to ponder on the worst thing about being well. I think observing my husband's workaholic tendencies, he injured himself for permission to stop. That's really interesting. He injured himself for permission to stop, because a lot of the times when we have like an injury, it's like, yeah, it's outside of us. But it's like, you know what? Your body got to a point where it was so like tense and so stressed out that anything probably would have pinged it. And it was just the system that's like, we need to stop right now. This is not working for us. Oh, Kate, fear of change. You know what? That is a really hidden fear of being well that not a lot of people realize until we start kind of like really going into coaching. So it's cool that you've acknowledged that and see that. Who would I be without being an anxious wreck? Who would I be without having chronic fatigue? It like these chronic health issues, especially if they've been going on for more than, I'd even say like 6 months, but especially if they're years, they become so much part of your identity that your system prefers to stay in chaotic certainty, painful certainty, because who the heck would I be without all of that? And like your whole nervous system is always looking for safety and having and knowing who you are and what's going to happen that day is a form of safety. What have you been doing enough? Yeah, I don't put myself first. I was hardly sick at all when young, and now, yeah, cool. Okay, awesome. Bingo, identity. Yeah. Safety staying the same. Yeah, which is kind of the same thing. Like we the thought of what you need to do or have to do, or usually it's not want to do in order to be well, it's safer just to stay the way that I am. And I'll just kind of like surface level, like try and heal myself because that feels safe. Or maybe not at all. Maybe I'll just self-sabotage every treatment protocol that my practitioner has given me. Okay. Like we've got these coaching questions in the workbook, and you get these slides as well. So this is probably like a whole month's worth of really deeply reflecting on this.
And make sure if you're watching this recording and you haven't downloaded the workbook, just scrolly poll down like a centimeter and it's right there under you. Click that button, download the workbook.
Okay. So essentially your symptoms are trying to keep you safe. So your body's not fighting against you, it's actually fighting for you. The physical and mental health symptoms that you're experiencing are trying to keep you safe. So they're fighting for you. They're just doing it in an unresourceful way at the moment, but that is the only strategy it has had for you for many years. And it is, as I said before, the number one reason why you struggle to heal. This is really interesting because sometimes we have clients who have really great results really fast. Like they like wholeheartedly lean into the process and like it's like, whoa, everything's like disappeared and like everything has changed really quickly. And then maybe like a couple of months later, those things are kind of creeping back. And it's not because they haven't done the work properly. It's because there's deeper unconscious blocks that it's actually unsafe to be well. And so, it's kind of like just breaking down those barriers so that it's actually safe to be well. It's beautiful to be well. If you haven't listened to, it was last week's podcast, we had an amazing client who's still in our antibody burnout method. I think she's like 4 months in, but she developed long haul COVID, severe chronic fatigue to the point where even brushing her hair was like so hard, like so much energy output there. But she had patterns of overdoing and she'd experienced burnout before, and then she got COVID the second time and things like literally her body was just like, great, now we can stop because we cannot keep running these patterns any longer. And so if you want to hear someone's journey really intimately in terms of how she actually did this work, I would definitely recommend listening to her podcast. It's super inspiring. And yeah, it's so good. Okay. Burnout patterns. I feel like a lot of you already have identified these in the chat box before.
Can we take a pause for a real quick second? Yeah. Questions. Before we move on into the next piece, like in the chat box, pop in your questions. We might move on with the presentation, but we'll answer them in the chat. And if there's any good ones, we'll address them.
Good ones. They're all good ones.
Yeah. That's not what I meant.
You're all awesome.
All right. So we'll keep on moving through, but yeah, pop your questions into the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of in the chatty chat box. There was like, oh yes, I created this because I struggle to relax and I'm fighting and I'm doing all the things and I'm so busy and overwhelmed and people pleasing and fussing. And it's very interesting too that a lot of people, when they start working with this, are still running these patterns even though they're exhausted, even though their body is screaming at them. So although the body is creating all these symptoms to try and help you to stop and look at things differently, a lot of the times what I see too in the health industry is that people are trying to heal their body in the same way that they actually burnt it out. So it's like, oh, all or nothing, perfectionism. Okay, yep, I've got to kill candida, so I have to do this anti-candida diet and I can't eat any sugar, including fruit, and I'm going to do it 100%. And then, that just causes so much stress and angst and shame and guilt, especially if things aren't perfect. And your body cannot heal when you're trying to heal it, when you're still running burnout patterns. So that is probably also another reason why, if you've tried a bunch of stuff, especially if you're someone who feels like they're so diligent, they're like, oh, but I do all the things that people tell me. Why am I not getting better? This is why. This is also why, because you're trying to heal your body by running the same patterns that you broke it down in the first place. Burnt it out. I have these conflicting thoughts, beliefs. I don't want my estranged family to see me well. Then I was never unwell. But then I don't want them to see them when I am unwell, when I'm vulnerable to their judgment and anger thoughts.
I love there's a cost benefit to all things, and just a simple, like, if you can imagine like a cross, it's like, what do you want here? What's the thing that you want? What's the outcome that you want? And you put that at the top of the page, and it's just like, well, what's the cost of that, of having that thing that you want? And what's the benefit of having that thing that you want? And then what's the cost of not having the thing that you want? What's the benefit of not having the thing that you want? Does that make sense? Cost, benefit, having, not having. And if you just draw that out, it's a really neat brainstorming thing. I'm going to play thought tennis and flip that one back to you.
Also, I feel like this can be answered in this next slide too. Every behavior has a belief underneath. So especially when there's one part of me wants this, but the other part of me wants that, it's like, and again, you feel like there's a battle happening inside of you. Suzanne too, perhaps a legitimate excuse for not seeing them. So deeper than that though, it's like, what is the belief underneath that is driving the behavior? So in our practice, we talk about root cause healing. And at the very root comes back to the deepest unconscious core beliefs that you have about yourself. And if they're dysfunctional, unkind, accusatory, self-limiting, they are always going to show up in your behavior, including how your body behaves. So your symptoms, your health issues, every time. So sometimes, we'll have a new client, or maybe even just, someone calls up for a free discovery call and they're like, I don't need any of that. It's like, the truth is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. Your health issue, there is a deeper unconscious core belief that is actually driving that. And we're sense-making creatures. So everything that we take in from the world and anything that we're trying to make sense with is always filtered around the beliefs we have about ourselves. So we've got some coaching questions as well that we might do a little whiz chat box inquiry, but it will also be in your workbook. Again, these answers don't usually come straight away. If they do, I usually find in a one-on-one coaching session, someone like nails the answer straight away, but then their conscious mind is trying to like hide it again. It's like, yeah, no, not that. And we go around in circles and then come right back to the same point. So what is, if we're thinking about the burnout patterns, what is the deeper root cause belief underneath your burnout patterns? So if you're running perfectionism, like Deb, I'd probably even say that pattern would kind of be a bit of you're trying to run away, like a bit of a hideout, avoidance pattern. Perfectionism pattern. What is a deeper belief that you have about yourself? Another way that you can ask that to yourself too is, what must I believe about myself in order to continue behaving this way, even though I can now clearly see that it is directly related to my health issues or blocking me from being able to heal? Yeah, so the person who put in perfectionism, what's the belief underneath your perfectionism patterns? Why do you feel like you have to continue running perfectionism patterns? What is it about you that you believe about yourself at an identity level? And identity usually sounds like I am, for you to continue running those patterns. My children, since My children, since I've been badly fatigued, like to think they can now tell me how to run my life, has stressed me. Yeah, that's something to definitely dig into. Someone said failure complex can't heal because I fail at everything. Yeah, okay. So this is a very big identity belief. And it's not a failure complex. It's even interesting the words that you've chosen, because failure complex is a little bit like imposter syndrome. It's kind of like it's out there. It's a syndrome, a disease. It's out there. When you can nail your deepest root core belief with clarity and with precise language, then you can actually change it. But if you're kind of like running around in the shadows, sort of like, oh yeah, it might be imposter syndrome or failure complex or whatever it is, you're actually not owning it. And so therefore you can't do anything with it. Michelle, believing I'm responsible for everyone. Okay, cool. What must you believe about yourself in order to feel like you have to be responsible for everyone? There's an identity belief under that. So that's a story, or it is a belief, what you've put down, but now we're getting like into the deeper root.
It's a limiting belief because it locks you into, if that's what you believe, that locks you into a way of behaving. So that's why we say, did we say this exact words? I don't think it was this exact words that we wrote in the slide before, but every behavior has a belief underneath. Or did we say those exact words? Yeah. Anyway, that's the
slide.
Yeah. I forget. Yeah, so there has to be a belief underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you've got some more fear of failure. So again, what is it about you that makes you feel so fearful about failure? Whatever I do is not good enough, punishing myself for it, or will not be not leaved. I am not good enough, or also loved. Yeah. So this is like, I am not good enough, or I am unlovable. That's where you're kind of going with a deeper identity belief. And also too, now I'm not saying that's not the thing, Kate, for example, but a lot of the times people start there because that's kind of like a broad spectrum. I'm not good enough. But when you can name it with like laser clarity, then you've got to the deepest root. And when you can pluck out that root, everything changes. But if you kind of like, oh, I think it might be a surface. Yeah, I'm not good enough. That sounds, yep. Then, I mean, you can start reprogramming that, but there's still going to be something deeper that keeps pulling you back. Oh, I am not normal and therefore less than everyone else. Yeah, the podcast interview I just showed you earlier, Emily, I think her deeper unconscious core belief was I'm not normal like everyone else. Have been called Miss Perfect and kind of feel like you have to maintain it. Yeah.
And you can keep doing that, and you could keep going with that over and over and over again. And it might not be an issue. You can keep going. But, I've got this saying, it's everything's okay until it's not. And nothing's wrong until it is. Yeah, it's exhausting, isn't it?
It's exhausting.
Yeah. And so, yeah, keep being exhausted. Have fun with that. But is that a pattern? Is that a problem? And it sounds like it might be. So there's beliefs. You believe something about yourself in order to do that, to be that way.
And also too, like, again, I just love looking at language because it's the clearest form of knowing. I have been called Miss Perfect, so I feel like I have to continue that. That's not really taking full ownership. It's like, yeah, other people told me that, and so then like I just took that on. It's like there would have been other little girls or boys who probably had the same thing said to them, Little Miss Perfect, and they would have been like, whatever, and it didn't cause them dysfunction in their adult life. They kind of just like let it go. So there's something else underneath that you chose to believe about yourself. having the need to be in control is exhausting and incredibly limiting. It is so exhausting. Okay. So again, that was kind of like a little like speed through that, but that requires a lot of time and space and knowing, and often too having someone else like a coach to be able to see your blind spots, because your system for so many years has been keeping all of this very hidden. It is actually quite it can cause some insanity if it's always in your conscious mind all the time. So you've created all these strategies to try and hide these deeper fears that you have about yourself.
Sasha, you've got a great question. I feel like I've tried all the things as you say. What modalities, techniques do you use to get to the root cause of your anxiety and the health symptoms? Anyone who's in our Ending Body Burnout method at the moment, feel free to pop in your journey if you'd like to reply to Sasha. So we have a thing, we call it Outlet. We get you to plug your thoughts into Outlet, which is like an introspective, questioning, journaling type thing where we'll take you through a specific pathway through uncovering your deepest root cause and your deepest limiting beliefs, and what you mean about you. We'll go over this in a little bit. I'll pop a link to our method in the chat. I'll go ahead and I'll do that now actually. But that's our method. We've got a 6-month accelerator where we take you through this stuff. And we combine it physical and metaphysical too.
Yeah. In terms of like modalities, techniques, I mean, it's a combination of lots of different things that Chris and I have tried and tested, first and foremost for ourselves to heal, and then also what works best with clients. But transformational coaching, NLP, TRTP trauma therapy. Essentially, though, the process that we've created, it's less around, oh, we use this modality, and it's more around holding you in this space until you get it. Because you could try a bunch of modalities, but if you're not held in the container of healing, then, you know, I mean, obviously it can work for some people, but a lot of people get stuck because they don't go deep enough. They're like, oh, I've tried hypnotherapy, I've tried talk therapy, I've tried like supplements. And it's like, you know, often people are kind of doing it hodgepodge. And also it's this deeper stuff too. It's exactly what we've talked about today. So it's less about the modalities and it's more about, I am done with this crap. Like I am literally drawing a line across the sand right now, and I am falling wholeheartedly into this process blindly with trust, seeing that other people have got results. And I am like, I am 10 out of 10 willing to walk across broken glass to be well. That's what gets results. Now, you might not start there. It might be like, I'm like, I don't know, 6 out of 10. But like, I want to get there. Like it is this drive that you need to find within yourself. And sometimes that drive is you are so stuck in the depths of body burnout now that there is no other way but up. But I'm very happy, like at the end, if you want to come off mute, or, you know, you can book in for a free discovery call if you want to know more itty bitty detail stuff. Yeah, cool. I think there's no one remedy space, time and willingness with the right person. Yeah. Okay, so more resourceful. So how can you show up more resourcefully? Changing identity-based beliefs is where the magic happens. That is like the deepest root cause work. And I guess like in terms of the modality side of things, we can talk about this stuff all we like. But the real change happens when we can cut through the conscious mind and into the unconscious, because your mind makes up 95% of your mind, and all this baggage, these unconscious core beliefs, like in the trauma from events that are connected to them, they're all stuck in the unconscious, which is the body, and that's why the body speaks to us through symptoms. Then in terms of events, so we created these events These beliefs usually before the age of 7. Actually, not usually,
Wait.
always before the age of 7.
We didn't. Not we created the events. We experienced these events.
Oh, yeah,
And we created an interpretation or a judgment about ourselves based on the events.
Yes, thank you.
Mm.
I mushed that up.
I don't know what my noise was.
And so identifying clearly this deepest root cause belief, reprogramming it in a way that it is going to change the unconscious. So affirmations will fall flat on your face if you just like look in the mirror every day and give yourself a smile and say, I am good enough. Yay. And then walk on your merry way. I don't know if anyone's tried that. Has it worked? Probably not. It might make you feel like, oh, that was nice. But it doesn't have any like deep, long-lasting change. Reimagining past events is so important too. And I love this too when we're working with a client and they're like, yeah, I feel like I'm really changing my beliefs, but I feel kind of stuck here or this symptom's still here. I always say, close your eyes and think back to that little girl at 7 years old and what do you feel about her? And if there's any memory of that younger you where there's like pity, sadness, fear, like she's not good enough or like you just feel a bit sorry for her, you need to reimagine your past experience of yourself because that is the foundation that is holding your current adult life and health. And so I used to have a perception of my younger self. She was like shy and anxious and, I created my deeper unconscious core beliefs were around being weak and incapable and it was all tied up with how I experienced my memory of her. Now when I close my eyes, little Philly, the very first thing, she's wearing this yellow tutu and she's like dancing in the sunshine. Like she is amazing. I love that little girl. Like I literally love her more than my children because I've done enough work to be able to deeply love and appreciate not just that little girl, but then therefore me now. Yeah. I can't remember why I put this. I think I might have just put this again just to kind of like connect back to the physical healing as well. So you cannot heal any of these body systems until those first two things are done. Now you can be healing them in coexistence with each other in parallel. But this is why people get stuck with the same old symptoms or new symptoms popping up time and time again, even after physically healing. And essentially doing this deeper metaphysical work literally switches off symptoms. Like there's podcasts, we've had podcasts, Christy's one was good that I shared yesterday. She literally like turned off her allergies. She did no physical work, but literally like she now no longer has histamine issues because she deeply loves herself and she's cleared like the baggage from the unconscious. We won't go into this one because of time, but we do have it in the workbook. This is just the 6 core needs. So every human being at any point in time is trying to meet their needs of certainty, variety, love, connection, significance, growth, and contribution. This is a really nice table that we put in the workbook that can help you to just connect why your current either burnout patterns and or health issues are trying to protect and meet your needs. And it's just another way to think about it, that it's like, I can see how the dots connect now.
And in the workbook, we've got some resourceful way. Actually, dun 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 dun. Zun, 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 zun. Here we go. Oh, that's not centered. Oh. But we've got like just some different resourceful ways and unresourceful ways that you can meet your needs. And that's really nice. You can have a look at that and just say, yeah, right, I get it. I'm meeting my needs for certainty in an unresourceful way. If I switched over to a more resourceful way, what would that look like? If that's a bit blurry on your screen in the workbook.
I have a big copy of it.
Yeah, you can zoomy in there.
All right, so as mentioned before, giveaway prizes. So check our Facebook group to see if you are the winner for yesterday. We're going to announce that at 5 p.m. And also we'll announce today's Lucky Door prize tomorrow at 5 p.m. And if you're watching the recording or if you want a few extra entries, there's different prompt questions, I guess, or engagement questions that you can do inside our Facebook group, which currently no one has from yesterday. So I don't know if people are like, just too shy or something. Maybe I'll go in and just like do an alias.
And I'll just pop the Facebook group in the chat for you to clickety-clack and go join, or you can take a screenshot of the screen right now and that QR code, you hold your thumb on that and it'll take you to our Facebook group. Or it's just chrisandphilly.fm/Facebook.
So we do have day 3 of the stress burnout why your gut protocol isn't working happening on Friday. And
Not tomorrow.
No. And then on Monday night as well, we're holding a 3 steps to end your body burnout webinar too. So we'll have giveaway prizes after all of those too.
How do you get the workbook? It will be under the recording, but if you can't wait that long, I've just uploaded it again into the chat.
Awesome. And doors are now open. So if you have really been resonating with our way of healing, so that's working not just on the physical, but we're physical, metaphysical, interconnected. We do have our Ending Body Burnout method, which is a 6-month healing accelerator. We're going into the deepest root causes. There are no Band-Aids in this program. And it is phenomenal. Not just because like I'm saying it, because I created it, or Chris created it too, but like our clients get really great results when you lean wholeheartedly into the process. So doors are open and we close on the 28th of May. So there's not many days left and we only open 3 times a year. So if you were super keen and you're like, yep, I'm ready to dive in, I am done with this crap. You are very welcome to join the Ending Body Burnout method.
Christine just asked, is Monday night webinar a repeat of the last 3 days? No, it's different.
It's different. Yeah.
Just to reiterate what Philly just said just now, if you don't want to wait till September to work with us, get your self onto that website link and get yourself started this week before we close up and we can't bring you in anymore until September. Do it. Just do it. Figure it out. Make it work.
And we do have some early bird bonuses as well. So if joining tonight, you'll get access to 3 early bird bonuses, a 60-minute one-on-one breakthrough self-doubt session. We've got 2 intimate group sessions just for the early birders. So one is all about creating time to heal, because a lot of people feel like, I don't have enough time to heal. And then also halfway through the program, we're putting on a special workshop too to help you get unstuck.
Pew, pew.
And if you have any questions, well, you're very welcome to ask any questions around what we've spoken about today or about our method, or if you wanted to jump on for a one-on-one free discovery call, you're very welcome to do that as well.
Cool. All right, team. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This recording will go up. For those of you who are here on the call right now, it will go up in a couple of hours. Workbook, the slides will all be up there as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure you click on those links and resources. Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout Assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook.
Have the best day ever.